So if you don't know, CloudWatch is a monitoring and observability service that you can use to understand your AWS resources, performance, behavior, and availability. It's also possible to add your own custom metrics to the CloudWatch to allow you to monitor basically anything within or outside your AWS. Virtually every other AWS service will integrate with CloudWatch to some degree. This means that you can use other services that you'd usually get monitoring capability through CloudWatch, either automatically or with an additional configuration. Before using CloudWatch, it's important to understand a few concepts. So we have metrics. A metric represents a time-oriented set of data points. Namespaces are containers for the metrics. And alarms will automatically initiate an action on your behalf. So it will watch a single metric for a specified time period, and it will perform one or more actions based on the value of that metric within a threshold. So if it goes over or above a threshold, it will then do some action that we specify. Thank you for the follows. Oh, actually, they've got some documentation there. So there's the docs if anyone wants it.
Says web link.
Right, let's go CloudWatch. To view all the currently available metric namespaces on the left hand side, we can click on all metrics. Gosh, there we go. So there are no custom main namespaces. Several namespaces may already be populated. Quickly arrived at after viewing the lab. It creates instances. It will create an ECB volume as well as an EC2 instance when you start the lab. After a couple of minutes, we should get metrics for the EC2 and the EB namespaces. So yeah, we've got some already. Look. To filter for a particular metric, we enter it into the search bar. So there we go. We can look at a specific metric over a period of time within the instances. Alright, to see the metrics listed under per instance, so let's go out of here. So EC2 per instance. Okay, it did want me to filter on that, so let's filter that again. To graph the metrics, scroll through the metrics, locate one where the instance name has a high CPU, and then select it. So we need to find... should be one that's freaking out. There we go, highly. We should see it graphed now that it's there. Let's try in a short time span. Let's try in like minutes, yeah, one. Right, see one dot, it's just like, oh god, reset. We just don't have enough time span to like fit it in, but it is there. Right, graph metrics, we can clear the graph, we don't care. Right, monitoring EC2 instances. By default, it will not monitor everything out of the box. EC2 doesn't monitor anything like disk space or memory usage.
Swanderton says, meet reveal?
To what? Right, so go EC2, go to our instances. Oh, there we go, there's the one with the high CPU instance. So we'll select that. So in the instance table, we'll see a row of tabs. Details is selected. Go to monitoring. Scroll up a bit. So we'll see a load of graphs that have been generated. These are metrics that AWS has determined are generally relevant to any EC2 instance. Here's a list of services that AWS services publish CloudWatch metrics. So again, this is more docs. Let's paste that. So this is the types of metrics that we can monitor.
Web link.
We should all be aware that the metrics in this tab relate to disk reads, disk read operations, disk writes, disk write operations. This pertains to ephemeral storage disks. The metrics will not represent anything if you haven't launched an EBS backend. So yeah, the actual instance storage, temporary storage. To enable and disable monitoring, we have to click detailed monitoring. So we can enable that there. Let's click that. Confirm. Failed to do it. Okay, fantastic. Oh, okay. So the lab says you click that to enable it, but then you disable it to continue. So just to be cheap and not create any additional costs. But right, so yeah, so with the instance selected, we'll go storage. Click on volume ID. And we get additional monitoring for that volume. Yeah, we would see if we had if this was up and running for a while, we'd get a nice time series graph, but we just have like a singular point at the moment because we've only just spun it up.
Nightbot says, you can change your TTS voice here. Web link.
Right, so this is just showing that the EBS and these volumes in EC2 can be detailedly monitored. So at the moment it's just doing it every 5 minutes rather than 1 minute. But if we need more frequent monitoring, we can enable that detailed monitoring feature and it will give us instance updates every minute. But it will just cost us more. Cool, right. So now we're going to look at how we can view the EC2 metrics within CloudWatch. So these metrics aren't over in CloudWatch yet. So we navigate to the instance page and we're going to launch a new instance. So instances, we're going to launch a new one. So let's call it monitoring. Make sure it's on T2 Micro. Key pair, we want the only one that we've got. Advanced details. We should have detailed CloudWatch, so enable that. We can launch the instance. So click on that, we should get the instance. Right, we've just got to wait for it to get up and running. There we go. Right, so we're going to navigate to the metrics page of CloudWatch, so let's do it from here. Alright, so we're going to search for CPU utilization again. Oh, we should have actually got more, so let's have a look. It should be... Let's give it a sec. There should be some more things here. So we should have per instance, and then across all instances, it should recognize we've got more than one instance. It's probably still because the checks are initializing. Alright, let's give it a minute, just let this start up. See if we can see it yet. There we go. That's what we should have got. So yeah, now so if we search CPU, now we get across all instances. Right, we'll have one metric listed. Click on that. Right, because this one's updating every minute, we should see a lot more stuff going on. So. While that's doing its thing, so we can view options for the graph metric. The one in the tab title, so that one, this denotes how many metrics are being graphed. The change the time window of the graph at the top of the custom, so we can do that, which I've done. Set it to 15, not 5, 15. There we go, there's a data point. The graph is now displaying the metric data points for the last 15 minutes. You'll likely see the graph change in response. So when we get another data point added, it will... it's what, 2:36 now, so we've got one for 2:30. We'll have to wait until 5 minutes for the next data point to add. But right, to change the period of the metric, we click on the period and then change this to 1 minute because we've got the additional metric. There we go. So start seeing much more usage stats. So we're now viewing a high resolution metric from the EC2 instance with the metric data point every minute. We'll see the maximum values instead of the average value in the table under statistics. So we can see what the max is, the min. Once again, you'll likely see the graph change. It's now displaying the maximum value of the CPU utilization metric per minute across the two instances. In this step, we launched the EC2 instance, we enabled detailed monitoring, we viewed the CPU utilization metric for all the instances, we've modified the metric graph to display the max value over the last 15 minutes and at a 1 minute resolution. Yeah, there we go. Every minute now we're getting data points added, so that's good. So let's see what... Let's run my check. Check that all EC2 instances have been created. They have. Right, CloudWatch alarms. So the alarm enables us to define a threshold that when we cross will proactively trigger an alarm, resulting in one or more notifications, such as an email. CloudWatch integrates with a simple notification service, or SNS, to deliver a notification and supports many notification mediums, such as email, push notification, and text message. We're in the CloudWatch console. Navigate to the alarms page. Click all alarms. We've got no alarms yet, so we're going to create one. We're going to select the metric that we're going to create the graph on. Right, so we're going to specify CPU utilization metric in the instance running a stress test. And we're going to enter the following one. Time into the search bar, so CPU utilization, and then we're going to specify the instance ID. Click on per instance metric, and then click on the instance. I'm going to select that as a metric. So that's the metric we're going to monitor. We're going to set the bounds of the alarm threshold, so we want period to be 1 minute. Condition is going to be whenever the CPU is greater than 50%. So we want greater than equal 50. So we can save that. Cool. Right, and then an action. So what action are we going to do? So when we get an alarm triggered, we're going to put the metric into an alarm state, so it's going to flag up as red. We're then going to send via an SNS topic. So we need to create a new one. Email endpoint. So we're going to email example@example.com. You want to use... Cool. Okay, so we can create the topic. So now whenever that triggers, it's going to send an email, it's going to send a topic, it's going to publish something into the SNS topic queue. Right, so we can continue. Named it yet? No, not yet. It's next. Alarm name is going to be high CPU. When the CPU utilization is greater than 50%. So there's our boundary. We can obviously see the metrics gone well over that at the moment, so we know it's going to trigger. So we should have an option to create the alarm. There we go. So we'll do that. So we'll go back to the alarms page. Got high CPU. We'll notice that the state is reporting insufficient data. This is normal for a new alarm. Your alarm is configured to only alarm when it's seen the number of data points for the period that we selected. So we need to allow it to generate some data points before it actually does anything. There we go. Right, so now it's an alarm. So obviously there is a data point that is over 50% CPU utilization. So let's click on it. We should see the graph. There we go. So the red line displays the threshold, 50%. Underneath we'll see the details. So this shows the information for the alarm. The history tab will show us like what's caused, like when it's been triggered. So we created it, it went to alarm, and then it successfully published into the SNS queue. Right, let's see if my check is going to pass. It should do. So check if the CloudWatch alarm's been created. Of course it has, we can see it running, so that's done. Right, we've got two more steps. So we've got creating the alarm using the EC2 console. So in addition to CloudWatch, we can create an alarm. We can also do it from the EC2 console. The process is similar, there are some differences. So let's go back to instances. Select the instance that we created monitoring scripts, go to the status and alarm tab. We're going to action, create and check alarm. And we can to create one, we can do oh no, cool. So we have create a new alarm. We're going to use the alarm notification of the SNS queue. And then for thresholds we want average. If it fails, and create. So basically if the instance fails for whatever reason, you will get a notification. So we can go back into CloudWatch. Do our all alarms, and we should have the new one we just made, which is on insufficient data because it's brand new. Thank you for the follow. So yeah, we just got to give it another minute similar to this one, we need this one to get enough data to determine what the status of the alarm is, so it should be good. Still keep going. Right, what have we got? So the EC2 instance, this alarm is monitoring what was created during the lab. It's been configured to periodically run a stress test that will consume 100% of the instance's resources. This is a synthetic example of what an instance experiencing a high load might actually experience. So alarms could trigger at any time of day, any day of the week, and in some situations, as well as notifying someone, you might want it to perform an automatic action. When the alarm breaches its threshold, such an action can be used as an attempt to temporarily mitigate the issue until someone else can look at the root cause. I mean, or you might even know what the root cause is and just have a script set up to fix it, so yeah. Alright, so we need to do something else. We need this to actually complete. There we go. So that's okay. Alright, we're going to add an action to the alarm. So we'll go on to the high CPU. We're going to click on an action. We're going to edit. Right, so we want to configure our actions. To add an EC2 action. So when this alarm triggers, it detects that it's got over 50% CPU utilization. We'll add an action within the EC2, within EC2. We are going to reboot the instance. So when it goes over the CPU threshold, we're just going to turn it off and on again. So we can skip preview and create, and update the alarm. So here we go. So you can see the time period that it was in alarm for, and then any minute now it's going to get killed. Right. So if we're under alarms, we can click on actions. We can see what actions are going to take place. So should see it shut off like literally any minute. So yeah, we'll see the two actions, one to notify, one to do the EC2 reboot. To test the action, we can perform the following steps to modify the alarm to observe a state change. So, okay, so it'll only reboot when it goes from OK to alarm. So in order to get it to change state, it wants us to edit the action, change the metric, so it will then do it on lower than, next, update. So once it realizes that it's on the other side of that threshold now, it should say it's okay. Come on. There we go. Right, we're back to OK. So now we can change it back. So detail, action, edit. So we're going to change it back to greater than. Cool. So now we just wait. We wait for it to go into alarm state. And then when it goes into alarm state, we'll see an action performed to reboot. So yeah, let's just give it another minute. Okay, we're in alarm, and we can see that was the SNS topic being published, and then there is the action to reboot the instance. So you should probably see it restarting or something. And that will just stay in alarm because it's broken. Alright, cool. So that's that. Last step, so we've got sharing our CloudWatch metrics with other people. So if we go to, well, we're already in CloudWatch, so we'll go all metrics, CPU utilization, browse. Okay, it's already selected. Click on that across all instances. I'm going to add an action to share. We get a link to the graph. So we should be able to share that. So there we go, so other people can see our graph. You can only share URLs with IAM users who have the appropriate CloudWatch permission to your account. So that's good. But that's it. So yeah, we don't have to do anything else here.